Hello everybody, and welcome back to DC Universe Online with me, and I'm doing something different today. I've been asked a couple times by people to show off, especially during live streams, to show off all my characters. And I also get a lot of questions, especially from like the live streams or any of the characters really, what their styles are, or things like that. And it got me thinking. I was like, you know what? I should do a video where I go through all the characters. And I even was asked to do a video talking about the backstory of certain characters that people have only seen on the live streams and haven't seen anything of them yet. So I thought I would do that today, and hopefully you guys will like it. I can't guarantee you will like it, but it'll at least be really good for the people that are new to the channel, who really haven't gotten into all the characters and all the lore that I've tried to build up. So I'm going to go through each of the characters and talk about their styles, as of course. I'll try to give some references to stuff that they used to wear, but mostly just their new stuff. So hopefully that's okay. Give you guys some mind canon on the characters. Some of the lore that I built. Because one of the things that I always wish that this game had, and I did in an old video, was I wish that they had added in a thing where you could put like a character bio about your character. And I remember watching a video of City of Heroes, and I think in that, what I got from it was that you could do that. And that bums me out that you can't do that with your characters in this game. Because I think that would be really cool. People could look at your character bio and be like, oh, that's cool about this character. But anyway, let's get down to it. This time I'm trying to get through all the heroes, because I do have 17 characters. Not going to go through all 17 because some of them don't matter necessarily. But I'm going to do the heroes first, and then probably on a second video, because I imagine this will be fairly long, I'll do all the villains. So if you guys were looking for all the villains, don't worry, that video will be coming. So let's start it off with everyone's favorite, Quantic Strike. He is probably my second favorite character that I've made, but he is my main character that I use. Just because I've done so much stuff with him. In fact, I'm going to put up on the screen links to all the different machinima stories that I've done, including the first beginning stuff that I made with him. I'll warn you guys that me going through this and giving you mind canon that I have, my lore that I create for these characters, it's going to be a little spoilery if you're new to the channel and haven't watched any of these things. So I do recommend, if you really are into what I'm already doing, checking some of that stuff out, because I think the stories were pretty fun to do. And I don't know. I just find it always really interesting to make up a story for a character that you make in a game, especially in MMO. I don't know. Maybe I'm, a part of the RP crowd or whatever. But I just always want to have sort of a backstory to the character that I'm making, even in like games like Fallout and stuff. That's just kind of my thing. But Quantic Strike was actually created, and I've said this before, when I first was going to make Dcuo videos, I was going to make it about Shadow Justice, who we'll get to. But it was kind of a boring video, in all honesty. So I created Quantic Strike. And his name was actually super random. I made it up on the spot because I couldn't get any of the names that I wanted. So, so I just came up with it. That's pretty much his start and everything. He's had a lot of different costumes. His original costume was, starter gear. And we slowly built up throughout the first Let's Play that I did. And I don't remember the episode, but there's an episode where he basically takes Shadow Justice's suit and wears it because it's better than his current one. Because he's kind of made some sort of friendship with Shadow Justice. Shadow Justice isn't very happy about it, but it also allows for some other plot stuff to happen later on. But yeah, he basically takes his suit, and so I changed his colors from being black and white and green to white, like mostly white, and then little bits of black and some green. And slowly his colors have changed as new stuff has come out, and it just, his suit is always evolving. I mean, this suit here, if you've seen Lightning Strikes Twice, this was his overcharged suit, which was to allow him to have extra power and be able to tap into his QSD, or QSD, yeah. I always forget my mind canon sometimes. Allowed to tap into it easier because it was powered in such a way that he could, but it is also extremely heavy. And I think that moved him from having a white suit back to having a black suit. But that suit only lasted for the end of that pretty much. And then it went back to his regular suit. And then he had a black suit for a good amount of Event Horizon. And then given the power that he has by Eternity, which is the shards within his belt, which is his QSD, was able to tap into it. And now, thankfully, to the fourth color palette, I can finally give him his full look. He went gold black, now he's white gold. I just prefer the white more. It was actually a really hard choice. I really do like him in black, but I feel like the white just feels more heroic, I guess. More like a shining beacon of hope, and that's what I always wanted for Quantaic Strike. His current suit, style-wise, is... oh god, I have to remember everything that he has. Go through it, everything. Full wings mask, he's always had that. We stuck with that from the very beginning. He's got a missive eyes, it doesn't really matter. Shoulders are the Sector 3601, which are really awesome. I love those shoulders. Hands are cybernetic. He's had those for a long time. Master Mercenary belt, cybernetic boots. He has Master Mercenary chest. He has Hive Defender, I think, legs. Yeah, Hive Defender legs. His back is the ancient Amazon Noble, which is Wonder Woman's shield. But he's always used a shield, so I was like, I really want him to have a shield on his back. Kind of always had that sort of kind of Captain America-y kind of feel to him, I think. With the shield and everything. I always thought it kind of gave him that feeling. And skin, right now I think I actually have him with a human skin, but for most of the time I used a robotic skin, only because the mask never seems to stick to the suit, and you get to see a little bit of his neck poke out, and it bugged the hell out of me. So I made him have this cybernetic suit for the longest time underneath his actual superhero suit. But I've mostly gotten rid of that since then, and it doesn't really matter. It never really affected very much anyway. Shield, he uses the temporal shield and the temporal weaponry in general because I bought that pack and it looks freaking cool on him. Yeah. So that's pretty much Quantaic Strike. He's a man out of time. Very much so. Came to the past to fix the future. But I feel like that mission, it's still a thing, but it's changed now because of his new connection to his QSD, which is his quantum spectrum device, which is shards of eternity, which was like a goddess type thing in the beginning of time that got shattered and sent across the universe. And allows him to manipulate time and quantum physics around him. If I had the will that I could on these characters, if I could give them everything I want. I always complain about Superman being a broken character, but I've broken Quantaic Strike so much that I might have to rework his story and like his powers and stuff in a way at some point this is all mind canon. It's not actually in the game, but I've talked about what kind of powers I would want him to currently have, and it would make him omnipotent. He would be way too powerful. Like, he could manipulate time. He could remove people from the timeline and it wouldn't have mattered. So yeah, he's too powerful at this point. If I gave him all the powers that it would want to. I think I gotta pull him back a little bit. But the thing about him is that he's still mortal, so he's extremely fragile. And I always try to give each of the characters kind of their own kind of a role. And he is very much I want Quantaic to always be, in a way, the underdog, but always the hero. Like, he would never go bad. Even though you would think that with the things that happened to him, that he would switch on a dime. But I always want him to be pushed in the right direction. So that's kind of always his role, is the hero. He is the hero of all the characters. So hopefully that gave you guys some idea on him and his suit and everything. As for older suits, I don't know. I mean, I think he had for the longest time, I think we had what were those legs? They were the ones from Central City. High voltage? Yeah, high voltage legs for the longest time. Shoulders? I can't even remember what shoulders I had previously. It might have just been the Future Defender shoulders. If I had to pick something out. Guess not. Oh wait, no, that's chests. Shoulders. Is it Future Defender? Yeah, Future Defender, I think, for the longest time, and then no back piece. So that was basically his suit for the longest time. Yeah. So hopefully that explains some stuff about Quantaic Strike. So on to the next one, and everyone else's favorite, Shadow Justice. Shadow Justice was my very first character that I made. He's always been my favorite, but he's always been a little bit special to me. And I wanted to start off all the series with him, but it never really made sense because of where I was with him being leveled and stuff, and just everything going on. I didn't think it worked to start off any series or anything like that. So I started off with Quantaic Strike instead. But Shadow Justice has been a work in progress the entire time that I've created him. I kind of base him off very much off of Batman, of course, and Red Hood and Deathstroke, and just like a lot of my favorite characters from comic books and stuff like that. And so I always give him that kind of attitude. His suit, I think, has pretty much stayed the same most of the time throughout everything. I don't think his suit's changed very much at all, ever. Maybe his waist. I wouldn't remember what it was before. But style-wise, come on, styles. There we go. Hair is the spiky hair. Head, he has no head. Well, he has a head, but no head style. Oh god, I get the hiccups again. This always happens. I get so excited. Gas ventilator face. That might have changed at one point, but I don't remember if it did or not. But I really dig that one. Always have and always will. It looks really super cool. Future Defender shoulders. No emblem, of course. Hands are the Master Mercenary. Waist is the Gadgeteer. And I always get questions about the Gadgeteer waist. And I can never remember how to get it, but it's really, really freaking hard to get it. You have to complete like a ton of missions for it. I wonder if I can figure out which one it is by looking in these deeds. No, not feats. Darn it! Things are freaking out. Collections. I know it's a collection. Collections? Which one would it be? Global collections? It might be global collections. Gotta be a waste thing. Oh, commerce. It might be. I think it might be technology of the future. Oh, but I might be wrong. But that seems like it might be that one. Because I know it had some really difficult ones to get. It might be technology of the future. I have a feeling that it is. Yeah, I think it's technology of the future. This one's kind of hard because Penguin's umbrellas isn't too bad, but there's a couple that are fairly rare. Alien technology is kind of hard, but these days it's not so bad. I think you can usually get, I think it's like Owen Destabilizer or something, or Disruptor, Owen Disruptor. And that one's really kind of hard and pretty rare to get. Steelwork scraps, I can't remember which one would be hard there. Science Squad experiments, I can't remember much about those. LexCorp rapid assault gear, there's a couple in there that are semi-rare. But it's in the same area as alien technology, so you can generally grab those two at the same time. And Star prototype gear, I don't remember much about that. If that's the right one, I might be wrong though. But that seems like that is the one. It's not street signs. It's got to be that one because it's a ton of different ones that you'd have to do to actually get it. I know that one you need to do a whole bunch of different sets of collections to actually get that. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one. If only, what is that? Oh, I need to get something else for that. Anyway, but yeah, that one's kind of hard to get. But it's fine. I'm sure a lot of people would be able to get it. It just takes a little bit of time and scavenging, and maybe some brokering to get it. Feet are cybernetic feet. I always love those feet. They're not my favorite ones, though. I'll talk about those ones later. But they are probably my second favorite foot style in this game. Just because they look the most like boots that you would have in combat. You know what I mean? Like, they just look so good as boots. And back style is an ever-changing thing. I've rarely found any back style that I like with Shadow Justice. I do really like having him have a hood and the tattered cape. And I always kind of, his backstory is that he grew up as a brother of 3 children, or, a child of 3 children, the middle child, and his young sister, their parents were killed in a car accident, and they were both murdered. So they all went and lived with their uncle, and it's a whole thing that I could get into sometime. But as they got older, his older brother, who we'll talk about in another video, Jason Blackfeather, he's Jason Blackfeather. Michael Blackfeather is his brother. Michael starts getting into crime and stuff like that, and then his sister becomes a vigilante, and then he starts working with her, and then she gets killed, and then Michael finds out about it and goes crazy because he finds out that his sister was the one causing all these problems with the gangs that he was in, and that the gangs killed his sister, and he was always kind of messed up on drugs already and loses his mind. It just snaps at that point, his parents being taken, his young sister that he loved and adored being taken from him by the problems that he created. Just snapped his mind. So they became enemies. But yeah, the cape and stuff that the cape and the hood would be his sister's that he wears, kind of as a memory of her. But I really don't ever put that on him. It's only as kind of a memento type thing once in a while. Yeah. So his back style is always ever changing. I really want to get the ones with the guns on it. Either the Gotham Outlaw or the Vengeful Surgeon. Probably the Vengeful Surgeon more, because I just feel like it matches him a little bit more. But I'd be happy with either one, honestly, because they both really look cool. So that's a work in progress. Eventually I'll get there, but currently he has the Gotham Knight back, which is the batons. Because I don't remember if I don't think I have the weapon mastery on here. No, I don't. But at one point I had the weapon mastery on, and he would pull out batons. So that's why I have that. And then he has lots of suits. And he had this suit, which was from Lightning Strikes Twice. So yeah, that's that one. This is his current one. This is the Bat suit, which is awesome, and it has that hood on it. The Pied Piper hood, but it's got the Batman cape. So yeah, that's basically Shadow Justice. As a character for him, he is kind of the martyr, I guess. He's the one who has all the bad things happen to him, and he's always trying to fix those bad things. And unfortunately, those bad things have consequences, and he creates a lot of the problems with his past and everything, as he is a bit of a rogue and does things by his own book. And unfortunately, playing by your own book is not always the best way to do things, but he does it anyway. So that's Shadow Justice, if you wanted to know, or if you didn't know, or if you already knew and you just wanted to see him some more, because everyone loves Shadow Justice. You gotta love SJ. SJ's the bomb. He'll shoot you. Why do I have those guns equipped on this one? Weird. Whatever. On to the next one. One of my personal favorites, Detective. Detective we actually made up on a live stream. I wanted to make a character that was kind of in the style of one of my favorite comic book characters. Well, he started off as like a Pulp Fiction character and inspired Batman, but the Shadow, I really like the Shadow, and I bought a bunch of his comic books recently, and I'm very happy with that. But him and the Spirit and the Question, you know, that kind of mysterious noir detective vigilante type character. But yeah, I wanted to create a character like that. That was kind of that in that style of a character. And then I created Nightfalls with him in it, which is pretty I like it. It didn't come out quite as good as I wanted it to, but it was pretty much where I wanted it to be. I mean, the thing with noir films and stuff is that they're very slow moving, and that's what I wanted to do in it, but I don't know if this doing machinimas is maybe the best way to do noir films, because then it feels really slow moving. And everyone's saying hello to me. They're all so sweet. But I think I know I always tell you guys about Nightfalls, black and white, which I'm putting out eventually here when I get it made. And that's going to move him more into like the superhero world, which I think it's kind of like a speed up of everything. So I hope people will like that. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting. It'll be the most that I've gotten into like the magical side of DC. So be excited for that. But he's pretty simple, but some of the stuff that he has is a little bit complicated to get. Style wise is the detective hat always tricks me up, but it's really not that hard to get. You just have to be able to do the briefings for that to get the fedora. Face mask is just the full domino. I've wanted different masks for a while. I was really trying to get the Owen Tech mask, but it just doesn't look quite right because it has like the skin on the inside of it, and I don't care for that. I wanted something that was more of old superhero style. And I think the hardest thing to get on him is the detective chest. And to get that, which I have a lot of people ask about, or used to at least, deeds collections, you have to do the which one was it? It is the Gotham Central, which is where you have to get all the GCPD files. And this one's hard because you have to get where is she on here? Renee Montoya, who is the current question. And she is very rare to get, and it's in quite a big area. It's pretty much most of the East End area, except for like over by Amusement Mile and stuff, and towards the GCBD building and things like that. And but there's like a long strip of area where you can get these, and it's kind of rare to find that one. So yeah, be careful looking for that one. If you get everything else, it might just be worth trying to save up the money to buy it off the broker, because you'll be looking for a very long time for that one. Hands, I think, are just formal, and formal shoes, because he wears nice shine shoes all the time. Yeah, that's pretty much his style. Not a whole lot to it. Very simple, but effective, I think. Character-wise, he's a cop, or was a cop, and then became a detective, and then became a private detective after kind of leaving the force and just going on his own. But he works very closely with the GCPD, as he is one of their best detectives that they had. And being a private investigator, he can kind of go off and do things that aren't technically on the book, and nobody will really ask a lot of questions about it. but it also means he doesn't always get his way. Hence becoming the detective and doing vigilante work. When things don't quite work out, but he knows he's right, or at least thinks he is, he goes and makes those things right. So, yeah, that's his thing. And this is his sanctum, which I don't think I probably showed it on the live streams, but I really, really like this place. I've worked really hard on it to make it kind of museum-esque. Very, very happy and proud of all the work, and I couldn't have done it without the help of a lot of other people pitching in and giving me all sorts of cool artifacts and things to put in here. So, yeah, one day you guys will get to see that in a series, or this in a series. But it's really just his sanctum, his private place to be, where no one else can find him. Although most people come here when I'm here. On to the next one. One of my current personal favorites that I've done, which I didn't think would be, is Levi Ravensight. And I got a lot of flack for his name when I first made him. But I'm pretty happy with Levi. He's turned out to be the character that I really wanted him to be. His outfit is kind of reminiscent of the detective. I wanted it to be sort of simple. And I also kind of took a little bit of inspiration from, I guess, a little bit of what's his name from X-Men that throws cards and they explode? Well, he doesn't throw cards and they explode, but he does in the movie. Gambit. Kind of that style, but not necessarily, but kind of that feeling. And personality-wise, I want him to be very similar to, like, Deadpool. He's sort of outrageous. He says things that don't quite make sense. And it's mostly due to the fact that he spends most of his time digging his way through all these archives of books and reading everything he can possibly read. His mind can, understand. And through that, he's kind of lost a little bit of himself. And you guys will get to hear more about that when I do the next Let's Play series with the villain. But, yeah, he spends way too much time buried in these books, learning all the knowledge that he possibly can, and that's sort of twisting his personality around, because he's losing his grip on reality, basically. He sees things that normal people don't know. He reads things that people haven't ever heard about before. And that's kind of making him weird. So I like that idea. I wanted him to have sort of a weird personality, just kind of a weirder character, and being like a silly sort of looking magician, basically. Like, I think I also took a lot of inspiration from Constantine as being that kind of sort of a mage character who uses the knowledge that he has to get his way out of any sort of situation that might come at him. At a lot of cost to his own personal well-being. But all in all, he's a really good character, and he's got his buddy Steve. And I'd bring up Rocky and Brother Eye, but it was Big Brother. Big Brother Eye. Whatever. Maybe it was Brother Eye. I can't remember. He hasn't been around for a while. But Steve is the best friend of Levi. It's kind of his buddy, his minion that follows him around. And yeah, they're just best pals at all times. Levi's suit, it's not super hard to get. Again, fedora hat, you just need to be able to do those missions. Pants are urban slick. Feet are the casual style feet. Casual schoolyard. I really like them because they have that band on it with the little buckle. And I thought that looked very nice on him. And it also was less so formal and a little bit more like he's got loafers on, so in a way. Belt is the sun clasp belt, and I really like that because it seemed like something that the mysterious stranger would have around his neck or something, some like crazy medallion. But the chest is probably the hard part because you have to get it either through collections or no, investigations, and that is done by global. Which one is it? Ferris Reels. Trading Doom. No. Which one is it? The Color of Danger? No. Watchtower? No. Which one is it? Maybe it's not investigation. Maybe it's briefings. It might be briefings. I might be wrong. Global briefings. It might be these. Spectrum analysis. That's what it is. So you have to get all these, and they're throughout all the Fight for the Light series stuff, I think it is. And that is... I can't never remember all this stuff. Think you can get... You have to get stuff at Ferris Aircraft, I believe. And then own science cells, Star Labs facility, and there was another one, Coast City. That's the other one. So you need to do all those and get all the briefings from them. Then you can get this jacket or vest, whatever. And then if you're on the villain side, you can just get it as a drop. It's a rarer drop from doing Owen science cells, which I didn't know until I ran it. And then I got it. And I was like, wait a second, I could have gotten this just from a drop. So apparently you can get it that way. So yeah, those are the two ways you can get this vest. I guess it's not that hard to get, and they're usually on the broker. So if you are in the monies, you can go grab yourself one off the broker if you want. I like it, but it only works with like certain styles, and it's very much a lantern sort of vest. But I really wanted just a vest for him. You know what I mean? Because I felt like that would be more slick and lean on him. I guess, you know, he wouldn't want to be like wearing something crazy, but he'd want something that was a little bit stylish. Yeah, Levi, he's just a magician, basically. He's a drifter. He has this place. He likes books a lot, and he reads a lot of books and gets a lot of knowledge. To what end he's using it, no one really understands. I guess it's mostly just so he has the knowledge. It's kind of like somebody that's just obsessed with one thing. Like me in comic books. I just gotta get them all. Oh my god, I have a problem. On to the next one. Nick Nova. He is a character that a lot of people really enjoyed, Nick. But at the same time, when I was doing his Let's Play, it didn't seem like people really enjoyed him as much. Maybe it's the style that I had picked out for him that I think people had the biggest problem with. Like, they wanted him to have hands, and I originally didn't want him to have hands. But it wasn't until we started leveling him, and I'm like, oh my god. I gotta totally get the Steel Works gear for him, which is the feet and the hands. Just it just makes him look so much more robotic-y and stuff. Took a lot of inspiration clearly from Cyborg, since I pretty much used all of Cyborg's style. But Nick was... I like him as a character, but I don't feel like there's a lot of story I could do on his own. I'd really have to start to venture down his storyline. But really his story is in his first episode, and kind of later on when we started Blind Vines series. But he basically was working at Star Labs. He was a scientist, and the reactor that they were working on, it was a what's the right word? A test, a experimental, that's the right word. Experimental reactor that they were working on went into the red and exploded, and he got caught in the waves, and it gave him atomic powers. And that's another thing with a lot of my characters is I get the idea of the game that everyone gets exobytes powers. But I feel like at this point, with us having played stuff where Brainiac is defeated, spoilers if you haven't gotten that far in the game, but where Brainiac is defeated, at this point, new characters being created definitely probably are being created in other ways. And I still feel like they'd be created in other ways other than just getting exobytes. Or maybe the exobytes had something to do with it. But in general, I think it's kind of more interesting to have them be a little bit different. Also, his crotch is always slightly like white right in the middle. I don't know why it does that. It's just super shiny right on his balls. Right there. I don't know why it does that. But yeah. Nick Nova, pretty simple character. He's a scientist, so he's very good with technology, which is why I gave him like a very robotic suit, kind of to help him contain the energy that is his body, and also allow him to manipulate it and stuff. I know when I made him, I think people asked me to do an atomic character with super speed, and if I had to make up lore for him, I would say that his super speed is not due to having any connection with the speed force. It would be due to the energy in his body he can exert as force, as running speed, and use it that way to accelerate himself while running. And his suit just allows him to be able to do that, which is probably why it would be good to have really cool looking boots like these ones. These are probably my third favorite boots just because they're really cool, but they're also kind of bulky and kind of weird looking at the same time. They give him this kind of look like his legs are arched weird, but I really like them. They're very cool. And they're a little too shiny to work with most gear. Same with the hands, but it works with this gear because it's all shiny, and thanks to the third color or the fourth color palette, I can actually give him really shiny gear, whereas in the Let's Play, he has very dull gear because the shoulders are not that same material as like the chest and everything. But I wanted him to have those big bulky shoulders from the Mercenaries Malice set on the villain side, which you can get in a lockbox if you're on the hero side, and vice versa. You can get it out of a lockbox anytime, or you can get it from the PvP sets on the villain side, or from their style broker, or style bot, rather. But yeah, I really like them. I think it all kind of works in this like big, bulky, sort of robotic look to him. Story-wise, I like, again, it just comes down to like, I think I pretty much dug into his story. I'd really have to like actually set out to make more story for him for me to like him more. But I really like him. I just don't feel like there's a lot to him. You know what I mean? Anyway, on to the final one. Haley Hellshot, our current Let's Play, which I'm really having trouble doing because I can't think of any topics to talk about for this series. But Haley was spurred on by doing a munitions character, and I wanted to do something different. And I thought having a really badass chick who wields guns and weaponry and stuff and just is all around awesome, kind of like Dread or Deathstroke in a way, or anything like that. You know, I wanted like a really badass chick to be a hero, and even maybe like an anti-hero in a way. But I still want her to have that, like, I think most of it would be like Dread, honestly. That's what I kind of like based her around. She was ex-military, and decided she still needed to do that, and there was too much crime, and so she goes out and she does that. But she respects the law in a way. She uses a lot of artillery and a lot of weaponry to do her job, but mainly because she doesn't really have any powers. She's just another person, but she has a lot of know-how when it comes to fighting and being versatile in battle and stuff like that. You guys will get to learn a little bit more about her later on in the Let's Play series. If you haven't watched that, I'll put a link on the screen, of course. But yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about her. I haven't really come up with like a lot of backstory on her, but I'm sure we could definitely make some more. I want to build up with her and Levi and Nick, and get them into kind of a group with Detective in there too, because I think they would all kind of work together as some sort of group. I think that would be fun anyway for them. Maybe even, even though I think about it these days, I really wanted Detective to be a part of that group, and I don't know what I'd call them, but they wouldn't be the Time Warriors. They would be something else. But I might even think about switching him out for if I ever do a Green Lantern character and throwing him into the group instead. That might be kind of interesting. But yeah, I don't know. She's just really cool and badass, and people seem to really like her, and I really am glad about that, because I wasn't sure people would really dig me, like, putting her in like a trench coat, and, I don't know. I didn't know. But yeah, she's turned out pretty cool. I don't think I've shown her since the last video we made, and I gave her the future Crusader hands. I switched out her other hands for those, and I think they look a lot cooler than the other ones, and match the Gotham Knight legs that she has. So yeah, I think she's progressing to become something even cooler than she was in the beginning. Oh, and I gave her the future Crusader waist as well. So yeah, she's pretty awesome. But yeah, that pretty much makes it up for all the heroes that I want to show you guys. Now, I know there are heroes that you guys would like to see, but really they don't necessarily exist in all manner of reason. There's Malign Inferno, who we didn't really get to see very much of. He was more of a one-off character for the Nightfall series and part of the Lightning Strikes Twice series, and I killed him off in that, and I really haven't touched him since then. I don't know. I keep him around because he's mine, and he's another character that I do love, but I killed him. So I guess I keep his corpse around. Master Zen was more or less a character that I created to fit in that story, and got a lot of love for him, and I'm really glad that happened, because even though I didn't actually make the character, I ended up getting sort of a name that's close, but there actually is a Master Zen in the game, so I don't know how he feels about that, but what do you know? But I mean, mostly it was to have another character in the story that created connections between everything, And yeah, he died as well. So yeah. And then there's Autumn Blackfeather, and she's been dead before any of this. So yeah. I mean, those are the other heroes I have, but there's really not much to them, in all honesty. There's another hero, but I haven't explored that yet, so there's no point in showing her. So yeah, that's pretty much all the heroes. So next time, since yeah, this has gone on for like almost an hour. Next time we'll do the villains. I don't have quite as many villains, I don't think. Yeah. But we'll explore them and one dead one. And yeah, that'll be the next video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's not like the regular stuff, and a lot of you guys maybe don't care about this because you already know and you've already watched all this stuff. But if you hadn't and you had wanted to know this stuff, oh, I forgot to do her style. I bet I forgot to do that with Nick too. I apologize. With Nick, it is pretty much all the only things I told you guys about were the weird things. The rest of it is all cybernetic gear. But for Haley, her hands currently, earlier on the series, it was the trim classic hands, but now she has the future Crusader hands. There's no headgear, she just has long hair. Kind of base that off of probably Black Canary, if I had to take any inspiration, even though hers is blonde, but kind of that same inspiration. Face style is the V Domino. I really like that. Again, based off of Black Canary a lot, or Batwoman, or Batgirl, I guess. No shoulder style yet. We haven't found anything that really matches. I don't think I really will. I like her having that sort of a style. Maybe there'll be something in the future, but currently I don't really have any styles that really work the way I'd want them to. Waist is the future Crusader as well now. Before, it was the paramilitary waist. Feet is the peaked feet. I really like those, but they might go out the window since I've changed out the hands. I like them because they matched the hands before, but now they don't. Legs before were the flex suit. Yeah, the flex suit. And now it's the Gotham Knight legs. And back, there is no back piece. I haven't found anything that I would want to put on her yet. Maybe the guns, but so far, nothing really. So yeah, that's pretty much all that's to her. Oh, wait, I forgot chest. Josh, you can't get away with that. It's the Vengeful Surgeon. I got this out of a lockbox since I'm on the hero side. It drops very frequently for me in lockboxes, so you might have a lot of luck that way. Otherwise, you'll have to get it from the PvP sets on the villain side, and that will only be for the villains that you create. So hopefully it drops in a lockbox if you're on the hero side, or you know, if you get it on your villain characters, you can always trade it over. So yeah, that's pretty much her. She is just an all-around badass, and I like her. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments if you did or not. If there's something I missed, maybe I can talk about it in the next video when we talk about villains ahead of time or at the end of the video, or I can make better on talking about that with the villains. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time.